Welcome to Hex Futures. Marching on down the road to another all-time high of Hex, right? So I really like these things. Please, if you're involved in bringing these to me, never make it stop. I like having the option. So what are we going to talk about today? There's all sorts of stuff, but the best thing is that Richard is tweeting and he's responding to tweets. He's playing around. He's putting questions out there. And the guys over there at Go Pulse, they've created a coin idea of some sort. I'm not sure how it's going to work. They've created the sacrifice and they're counting down the hours until their sacrifice goes live. And then Richard just today announces that pulsechain.com had a facelift, and it basically looks exactly like the gopulse.com website with the main tickers on there, the hex, the pulse, the pulse x, the ink, and little charts and saying the price and how one's large and a few of them supplemental or small down below. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know what sort of like battle is going on, or stubbing of the toe, or stunting the growth of. But yeah, if you don't have a purpose to your coin, then we don't want to go through this process of people assuming that they could prosper off of getting in early for your coin that maybe is just going to hit the floor after a few weeks. Things die down. People talk about how the Americans have a 2-week time span of memory. Well, crypto is like just 1 week or so. Okay, so I haven't been on here in a good while. I've been doing some spring cleaning, and I took a little bit of a step back from Twitter because I was starting to realize like where I am in all of this. And I don't know how to say this nicely, but just like how responsible the people who I've established friendships with in crypto, how responsible those people actually are. And it's really funny. We have this hive mind, and it's if you extend yourself enough, somebody's going to tell you what it is that you're mulling over in the background. So somebody came on one of the Twitter spaces a week or two ago and just said, like, what are you guys doing? Just wasting your time on here. Like, the people that you're talking to, they're not actually your friends. And I'm just like, yeah, I understand the level of separation that we have, and separation of responsibilities. I understand that, but it made me think about it a bit more. Trying to think of like all the things that I have on my mind. So because you guys know that I'm like the psychic mind, the deep thoughts, and like out on the surface I'm kind of stupid and ignorant, let's say, and then like down deep I've got some life lessons from my observations that I can pass on to folks. So I'm so happy that we are where we are. We've defeated the SEC. There's talks about the same lawyers getting Richard out of the Interpol watch list, and here we are with somebody posted earlier today saying that Bitcoin hit a golden cross, and just earlier today or yesterday, Ethereum jumped out of its descending pattern. It was down and to the right. Let's see if I can get that correct. Down and to the right, and it jumped out of it. So I think Ethereum went up like $100 or $200 in the last few hours. So it's at 1800, I believe. I don't know. I could be seeing old tweets, but we're right here at a very interesting place. But also keep in mind, guys, Trump and what he's doing, rearranging things, that is going to, in my opinion, that's going to take the star of the show. But I am starting to see more and more folks that are just random folks out there either talking about Twitter in spaces like I'm talking about Twitter, talking about crypto in Twitter spaces, to interested people who are coming around. They're wanting to start understanding what are wallets. What's the difference between tokens and coins? What's the difference? Like what are networks? What are validators? What is mining? These people, some of these people don't understand that you can have just portions of a coin. Some of these people don't understand that some of these wallets can't hold all the blockchain technologies. So I'm witnessing this where people in the common sphere are the commons. They're starting to ask questions. And at the same time, gold. Have you seen gold? Gold's up. It hit last week $3,400. That's amazing. It went up 30% in the last 6 months, 3 months, something like that. And that's a huge move for gold. And then of course there's the silver bugs that are claiming that silver is supposed to find its proper ratio to gold at some point. I don't know. I used to have silver. I sold it. That was my hex money. That's how I entered crypto back in the day, back in 2017. Whenever I wanted to know what made Bitcoin price 20K. I had been introduced to Bitcoin right when it came out to the public. I just didn't know how to buy it. And then I put it off, and I went to I've told you guys this, or maybe I didn't even post it. I went to a house party in Houston in 2011, right before I vacated Houston and said, no more of this corporate life for me. And I was visiting a friend of a friend's place, and he had this brand new condo up in, I think it was in the Washington Street area, if you're familiar with Houston. That's like northwest downtown. Everything interesting is a little bit west of downtown. Well, it's the northern part that was gentrified. It was redeveloped into newer stuff. And so we had to go up 4 levels in this condo loft thingamajigger to the patio, and we were all sitting out there, and this guy said, well, I think I've been thinking about this, mulling it over lately. I think his goal was 1,000 Bitcoins back then. And Bitcoin had reached 30 and then dropped back down. And so that's where he was interested. And he had already acquired some stocks. With dividends, he had already acquired his gold and silver. I was stuck on the gold and silver for the time period, but I also wanted to get the heck out of town. I wanted to quit that corporate life. I didn't want to be stuck in the middle of Houston if anything went weird in the world, because I've been waiting for this weirdness to happen, to lock us down for a long time. All the speculation about the conspiracy theories and stuff that we're dealing with now, that people are on such a fast crash course learning situation right now. which is also a very interesting thing that's happening right now. There's so many people that are, I think there are people that are keeping quiet, and they're acquiring information from the people that they trust, their loved ones. And then there's also people who are just strict to the sides that they want to stand on, and they're standing on their hill and they're waiting for their death, with their ideology. Um so that's I hope I said enough about that subject. And what also is happening in my life. Some new people have come across the DeFi puzzle, and they're of all different nationalities. And I get some praise and I get some hate because of this. Like recently, somebody called it a scam. It's just like, you don't understand blockchain if you call the DeFi puzzle a scam. The only thing it's doing is it might be taking some time from you, but I also recommend don't spend your time on the puzzle. It's a great learning opportunity. Introduce it to folks. Maybe get in touch with me and get some business cards from me, or pass around my YouTube short videos. That would be really awesome. Or some of the Twitter posts. I would really appreciate it. That's the DeFi puzzle. defiPuzzle.xyz is the website for that. And so these new folks, um, they're catching up. They're bringing some new energy, and I forgot who it was, but some people started asking me, like, when are you going to put out the next round of clues? And so I had spaced out mentally from managing the puzzle, let's say. And so I just wanted to get it over with, because I realized I needed to make clues for at least one clue for every single one of the words. So I scheduled those tweets out. There are, let's say, 6 tweets scheduled right now. And then there are 6 tweets that exist from the past that are hashtag DeFi puzzle clue. That's how you can find it. So the month of May, which we just now started, there's going to be one clue offered, and then the rest of them will trickle out all the way until the last one on Halloween Day, 2025. Also, yesterday I burnt the keys. I burnt the seed words on a piece of paper, just a regular size printed paper like this. I made 12 of these squares. So I folded it to where there were 6 on this side and 6 on this side, and I wrote the seeds down large, because I actually had to burn it twice. So the second time I burnt it, because I wanted some information to be presented as it was burning, as the paper rotates and things get inflamed. I wanted it to reveal a little bit of information, and that happened when it was that I folded it to the 12 squares, and I wrote everything quite large. So y'all can check that out, and then I'll post it on YouTube as well. I just haven't done that yet. So what I'm trying to say is that I've basically wrapped up the puzzle, and for me, I put it on the shelf, and people can come and play what they want. Everything's automated, and hopefully I'll never have to touch or go into the wallet or anything like that. I don't know if I have publicly been on a live stream or a video saying that somebody was kind enough to donate some of this teddy bear coin. So as I understand it, I don't have all my little tendrils into all the portions of Pulse Chain as much as I used to, but it's my understanding that the Atropa guys and the PDI guys really fudged up the economics, the values inside of our chain, because there's a webbing effect whenever some of this stuff fails or was vulnerable. So as I understand it, the B Roots character, who is also a Texan, you know how he's like a spokesperson and very, very out there, loud, but hey, if he promotes your coin, then you've got a front row seat situation. So like keep that in mind. Like, who is the cheerleader for your coin, and what's the run of it? What's the how much energy is there, and how long do you think the thing can go, you know? So B Roots was there in the beginning, talking about whenever Pulse Chain first came out, talking about this coin that he got behind, that as I understand it, the Atropa guys created. That was called Teddy Bear, or either Bear or Teddy. I'm not sure, but it was called something like that. And then, and the reason why I have it confused is because I'm not sure which ticker is what. Okay. So then all this stuff happened recently with the values and the webbing and the problems, right? So B Roots says, screw this situation. I'm gonna relaunch with the same name, different ticker, and we're gonna go forward from there. Just him and his community, and then other people who have interest on Pulse Chain. Because B Roots is saying he's gonna cheerlead this thing, and he brags about the market cap and everything, which he has, you know, he's got a good point. How do I say, like, he's got a good thing going. Let's just say that. I'm not telling you guys to go buy it. Okay. So he created this other teddy bear token, and I'm not sure what the ticker for it is, right? But this is the new teddy bear. Let's call it that. All right. So I said all that stuff in order to tell you that somebody was kind enough to donate $5,000 worth of this token. The first day it went in the wallet, it was $5,000. The second day it went to 7,000. The third day it went down to 1,000. And then I thought, oh well, maybe it's done. Nope. It came all the way back up to 7 to 8. So right now, I have to admit, this teddy bear token, the amount that's inside the defiPuzzle wallet is larger. The value of it is larger than the p-hex value that of the million that's inside the defiPuzzle wallet. So that's going on. This last month, I've probably only had like 1 or 2 people ask me for mail. I know one of them's Chivo. So yeah, 2 people have asked me for mail. You guys, let's get those orders in. You know, it's absolutely free, and I'm happy to do it. And right before we have right before we have this total comeback of, oh my gosh, Richard Hart was right, we could go and spread the word to a lot more people. And these cards, they haven't changed. The designs are still the same. I'm still sending out, like, because you know, you order 3,500 of, is it 3,500? Let's say you order 3,500 of cards, and then you can only fit 20 in each envelope. and you order 3 or 4 boxes of them. How fast do you think you're actually going to go through them? I didn't write down. I probably shouldn't dig while I'm on camera, but I don't think I wrote down too many notes. Oh, wow. Here's a lot of notes. So it's right now, it's a pretty interesting time to see how RG3 sees crypto, because RG3 has been through so many cycles, and the weighting of what we think to be the inevitable altcoin season. So, like I say, Bitcoin got a fruit fly or a fly or something. He's trying to get out the window and wasn't successful, so he came back towards me. The inevitable altcoin that season that's supposed to follow a Bitcoin season, or yeah. So we don't know exactly how it's going to happen with ETH. I'm really glad that it broke out of the channel that it's was in. That has been a huge to from everybody towards Richard with the SAC funds, him bringing the SAC funds over to Ethereum. So me personally, I think when Ethereum wins, we win. And I also think that Bitcoin's going to go first. It's going to go up first, in my opinion. But like I say, rearranging the economy and Donald Trump is the winner of everybody's attention right now. Okay, so back over here to my notes. These are a bunch of notes that are like written in the passion. And so I don't have the same thought as I did when I wrote them. This is me talking about like some of the weird situations where I explained in the beginning, I'm starting to question the psychology of the people that I interact with online. And so I have a note here just saying that it's really hard to understand folks. Like when Richard Hart tweets out and tells you something specific to stay away from, and then everybody's like, oh, he wants us to get away from it so he can buy it all up. So if we buy it, if we front run it now, we'll be wealthy. So I don't know if I've talked about this on a stream or on a video, but RG3 was talking to one of the guys like 3 or 4 weeks ago on the FN Hangout about being responsible whenever you're giving a product review, like they did with the Rabby wallet. So supposedly our community put out like 150 one-star reviews on Apple for the Rabby wallet software, and that tanked Rabby wallet's reviews. And somebody was saying, like, if you want people to do business with you, like Pulse Chain and Hex, and list your Pulse Chain, right? Don't you want to show that you've been cordial to other folks in the industry? And then RG3 is like, hey, it's business. I've done a lot to help. RG3 saying this. I've done a lot to help out with expanding Rabby Wallet, and then they rugged us. So I'm giving them this business review. There might have been a warning time period. They might have given us forewarning, but they still decided to pull out. I think Eco thinks that Rabby was losing a lot of money. Like Pulse Chain went from 80% SAC down to 20% SAC during the time period where everybody was talking about Rabby a lot more than any other wallets. And so it seemed like to me that Rabby was just experiencing one-way cash out, sadly. Tin Top says, "What's up, Hexicans? Everybody holla." Man, wait, I don't know if y'all saw that lightning reflect off my face just now, but we've been getting some scattered showers and it's been wonderful for our spring. But everybody needs to know what weather modification is. If you haven't figured it out, please look into it. I believe that cumulonimbus clouds are extinct. Let's see. RH activity tweeting. Rumor of SAC funds moving. Maddie's good P-die is at 60% SAC rate. I'm not sure where Maddie's good P-die project has ended up. I know that Maddie's down in Austin, Texas right now, just south of me. A lot of the guys are coming here to Texas. In fact, like a lot of the nation is coming to Texas. I made the mistake of the last hour just scrolling through Facebook and finding all of these poshy California girls doing these reviews of Texas small towns and what to do in Austin, and it's just dee. Oh my goodness! Like, this is what we get for the last like 20 years. We've had a better economy than the failing states, and people have been coming here with their ideas, their influence, doing whatever. All right, so Maddie, I think he's an Illinois boy, came down here, and then recently he did the P-die sacrifice thingamajigger, and the last time I checked, it was at 65% of the SAC rate. I wouldn't be surprised if it went up or down. I don't know if he wants that to stay at a stable. I did see inside the DeFi puzzle where there's 20 Maddie that I believe was donated by Brizology back in the day. Because in the DeFi puzzle wallet, we're promoting people to use that as their advertisement. Like, just throw some coins in there, and the larger the value of your coin, the higher it is up at the top of the list that eyes will see. So 20 Maddie just the other day was worth $8, which is pretty interesting because I could have sworn it was like less than $1 last time I looked. So possibly Maddie's and his word and him locking up some coins and value, possibly that's working. I'm not sure. I'm not following it. I got a gold ounce at 3,300. It actually reached 3,400. A wild SJ told me that RG3 is working on a like a dad hangout type of show. That's going to be a new thing for Discourse Syndicate. I say it's a dad hangout thing, but like, I sent her a message and I created a postcard example where RG3 is on it holding a cigar. And I was like, it would be interesting if there was like this crypto cigar club where you pay for a cigar, you overpay for a cigar. They take those funds, they stake some hex with it, and they send you the cigar and the seed phrases to where you have your fun, you know? So I sent her that, and then she was like, oh, this is interesting because he's actually working with one or two people who are in that vein of thought for a new show. Tin Top says, did y'all see the Tucker Carlson and Catherine Austin Fitts interview. It's about central banks. YouTube has an edited version. I did see some clips of that on Twitter, and I thought that it was really good. I really like Catherine Austin Fitts. I think she's awesome. Thanks for that comment, Tin Top. So I told you guys recently I've taken a little bit of step back from Twitter, and one of those things is that somebody I really like, he kept putting me into a group with a person that I don't want to be around, and like a whole group of people. And then I think that um there's what, soured water, or ooh, there went lightning. I just don't have any time to extend myself emotionally and dramatically or whatever. And so I'm guarding myself a bit more. And so there was a certain person who got his ass blocked from me because he kept on adding me to a group that I didn't want to be a part of. And I specifically said why. And he just kept doing it. And so it was like 4 or 5 times. So everybody in the group understands why it is that I had no interest in being a part of it. But the boss man of the group just thought he would push my buttons. So this is what happens, is I'm just not going to participate. Mentioning Maddie once again, he claims that his goal is to onboard Joe Rogan. He wants to run into Joe Rogan on the streets of Austin. And I got a note here about Sami talking about PDI with others. Makes my brain turn to mush. Logical fallacies, misdirection, and fooling. Y'all, those PDI spaces, those were terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then also if people had like true criticism, they weren't allowed on stage. Like always, guys. And you just hope that the phase ends as soon as possible. You hope that destruction happens. Just get people on to the next thing. And so I actually saw, I was scrolling today, the defiPuzzle, its Twitter account doesn't follow but like 5 people. So the thing, and it's like Richard and then all of my other accounts. So whenever I scroll on the defiPuzzle thing on the Twitter feed, then I get things from across the community. And I think I ran across something on Sami's, and Sami did not mention whatsoever anything about PDI. So what's going on? What, you had so much to talk about it, and now nothing. Now you're gonna talk about Pulse Chain and the facelift of pulsechain.com or something. I don't know. I don't like that at all. I think that every man should go down with this ship. Like if Hex if Hex had problems, then I would have huge problems getting up here and talk about the stuff. And what I'm trying to say is, like, when people pick something up and parade it around and they want other people to put their financial energy into it, and you don't know how far people are going to buy into something. You don't know if somebody bought into it at a $10,000 level, a $1,000 level, or a $100 level, or even $20. You don't know what you're about to inspire people to take gambles, to take risks. Even though it's legal, it may not be ethical. And so that's why I like to hold people at their word. But here on the internet, people just create another alt account or say that they never said something. And then even if it is that you nail them down to something, they still have this what is it? Narcissism, this lack of responsibility. And they just go forward and they're just like, yeah, I didn't poop on the floor over there in the center of the room. That's not mine. You didn't see me do that. All right, so that's a little insight to my mind, and I think the people who interact with me here on YouTube, I think you guys understand what I'm talking about. I think like minds converge, and that's also why it is that I have such a small following as well on or following. I have a small amount of audience, let's say, on these live streams because I actually think that you guys are the only people who have your mind in the right place. You haven't crossed your wires too much. I guess I don't have much else to say. Why did I pick on Sami? What was I going to go down for that? Oh, just that the PDI folks aren't talking on Twitter Spaces anymore the same way that they used to be. You guys can imagine, like, after somebody saying two logical fallacies back to back, then your brain just starts going weird because you're like, okay, well, there's a variable there and there's a variable there, and these two variables cannot be ignored. So all of your little brainstorming of what if could be, just nullify it. All right. I don't have anything else. I got hail that's coming my way outside my window, possibly tornado. Tornadoes actually don't actually reach exactly where I am. Instead, there's some geographical features that kind of protect me. But the town north of me is fucked. Okay, so happy summer. Happy Richard returning. Happy SEC defeated. Happy newpulsechain.com look. Happy conversations with people that are just random. There will be so much more open to talking about crypto. They've probably been introduced to crypto from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram videos. So here is our opportunity to say, I've been involved in crypto for a long time. Maybe you could go to hexsearch.com and ask whatever crypto questions you have in a Google search format, and it will generate some answers in video format from the mouth of Richard Hart, who is a founder of a coin that went to billions in market cap, and a blockchain then soon after that that's gone to billions in market cap. And then he also, in the last 2 years, took on the SEC and just recently defeated it. So we've got wide open prairie from here. All right. This is Eco Builder signing out. Thanks for being here. Cheers.